So I'll start off. So I've created that table. So now I can start creating my measures. But before I start, I can't just start creating my measures straight away, right? I need to know what I really need to do. Because it's like a scenario. I have a business came walk up to me and say, okay, Mike or John or Joseph, please help us build a dashboard. We want to build a dashboard and we need your help. They just give you the data and some maybe KPIs, key performance indicators that they measure, maybe number of sales, total number of orders and all that. But they need it to be to be creative and then come up with something great. So now, before you can come with something great or you can do anything with that data, you must understand the data, right? And look at what might be needed for the company, or what could the company be really looking out for. So that's what you need to really look at. So you don't look at, okay. Hello. So you get it now. So what do we need to look at? So the first thing is understand the data. You now look through the data, right? Come to your data tab, look at your main data, which is fact table, right? Look at this row ID, you have order ID, order date, ship date, customer ID, postal code, right? So the first thing is, as a company, this is looking like an order. This company receives order and then they ship it out and deliver it, Abi. So this data is that's how this data is looking at. So of key is, okay, the company wants to see average the number of orders raised per day, average daily orders. All right, the company wants to see how many orders do you even raise per day on an average. That company wants to see that, right? On a day, average daily, average weekly as well. We want to see, okay, on weekly basis, how many orders do we raise? Average monthly, you get it now, and average yearly, right? Now, you can come again, okay, there is sales, they want to see their total sales, right? Right, they want to see their total sales. Okay, there are discounts, right? There are discounts, okay. So meaning you can also look at, okay, our gross total sales and our net total sales. When I say gross now, I'm a company. I have a company. I have a good of 20,000 naira. What 20,000 naira? I've given some people discounts. So meaning the discount has reduced my gross total sales, right? So that is gross total sales. But my net now is, my net will be after giving them discounts. What is my total sales, right? So I can look at that as well. So we have a profit. So I might want to look at, okay, total profit, and then I look at my total sales, and I want to see my what? Gross margin, something of so okay, sorry, we already have profit, so there's no need to. We already have, so I can look at my total profit. So I can now look at my average daily profit, right? How much am I really, or how profitable is my business? And I want to look at that. So these are some of the things you now look at, looking at the data, right? I can come to date as well. Let me come to which other table do we have? A location, right? So I might want to be, so when I'm now building my visuals, I might want to say, okay, okay, the state, the country, and I want to see which region is performing the best, which countries are performing the best, which city is performing the best. And I want to look at this as well. I'll look at which other table is there? Product table. Okay, why did we hide product table? Okay, let's just unhide it first. Shouldn't be. I will look at my product table. Okay, I might want to look at my total profit by category, right? By subcategory. How much profitable am I based on a category? Which subcategory is doing the best? Which of the subcategory is the most profitable? These are some of the things you have to consider, right? You want to see customer So we have customer, where is it? Where's our customer table? Okay, so customer. So we have customer table here, right? I might want to see my total customers, right? Then I might want to see my let's say my total sales per customer. So I want to see my total sales per customer. So what am I going to do in that case? I will divide my total sales by the total number of customers that I have. So that way I can know that on average, this is the sales I'm making on each customer. So total sales per customer. That way I know, okay, on each customer, this is how much I'm making, or this is how much profit I'm making. So these are some of the things you have to look at around your data before you now start to say, I want to create calculations. I want to build DAX functions. If you have not understood the data, you will not know where really you need to go to, right? So which is very, very key. So now, having understood all that, I can now go to my main page and now start building. So, and I told us we must ensure, let's hide these three guys. So let's hide them one by one. Hide. Which other one? Alt table. Hide. Pivot table. Hide. So I've moved all my DAX explanation. So I can also hide this, but I can leave this one, not disturbing us. So customer date table and everything. So this is where all my measures will be. I can right click on it and say new measure. All right, I'll call it what? Total sales. Total sales in this case will be what? Sum of what? There is a column that is called sales. So I'll say sum of sales. But I always love to wrap it around calculate. Calculate. So this gives us our total sales. But if you notice from our data, you notice that there is a discount, right? So meaning there were discounts on some of the sales, right? So I may need to calculate total discounted sales as well. So I'll do that. So these are very, very simple. So let me delete this one now because we don't need that column one again. So we've calculated total sales, right? So the next thing is new measure again on that same table, total discounted sales, right? Which is this the same thing? Let me just say calculate sum of what? Now, in this case now, you know, for me to get, let me go back. For me to get total discounted sale, how do I do this? Meaning I will have to multiply what? My sale times the discount. Why do I multiply the discount? So let me give it an instance. Benjamin, be ready to answer this. Is he on the call? Okay, it's not on the call. So let me give that to Joe. So if I bought a good of 100 naira and I give a discount of 10%. So how much was my selling price? I bought a good for 200 naira.
Selling price is 90 naira.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, 200 naira.
200 naira is the buying price.
I can hear you.
So I want to sell it, right? I want to sell it at a 10% discount. So how much am I selling it?
Is it? You'll be selling it 180.
180 naira. Okay, that's great. So meaning I can always say, so my discount is, if I'm giving a 10% discount, that is 1 minus 0.1, Abi. 1 minus 0.1, which is 0.9. So 0.9 times 200, that gives you 180. So that's the same thing we're going to do here. So meaning for our total discounted sales, we have to say, now in this case, we use some X, right? Because some X is an iterator. Some X is an iterator. And what does an iterator does? It works, an iterator works like when you are calculating your mean. When you calculate mean, what do you have? You have F, you have X. And what do you say what is mean? Summation Fx over what? Summation F. So meaning you have to multiply F times X, F times X. After multiplying, then you now add that summation together. But instead of doing that one by one, some X can help you do that multiplication and do that addition at the same time. So that's what that's why we are going to use some X in this place. So any formula that have X at the back, they are iterators and they help in such a case. So in this case, we are using some X, and then it will ask for a table, Abi, the table name. The table where we are talking about is the F orders, comma. The expression is now that we want to multiply sales, right? Sales, where is sales? F order sales times the discount. In this case, now our discount is 1 minus the discount, right? I believe you understand what I just did there. 1 minus the discount, because our discount is already in 0.0 points, which is like when you say 10%, 0.1, 20%, 0.2. So it's already in that format already. So all we need to do is just multiply, subtract it from 1, and that gives us our discounted sale. So we have this. We can close this now and close everything. That gives us our total discounted sales, right? Let's do our total profit, right? Total profit. So total profit in this case will be the same thing. Calculate sum of what? Sum of profits. And then that gives us our total profit, right? Now, I was talking about the number of orders, Abi. Number of orders raised. So we should be able to see that one too. How many orders were raised, right? Number of orders or total orders. Let's just say total orders, right? Total orders. In this case, we just do what? A count. So I can add that with calculate as well. A count of what? A count of all the order ID, because the order ID is what denotes. So as I'm raising another, like you raise another on Jumia, when you raise another, they generate another ID for you, right? Order ID for every order you create. So how do you now count your order? It's just simply by counting your order ID. That's what we are doing here as well. So we just count our order ID, and that gives us the total orders, right? Now, what if we want to know, okay, someone is asking me a question. Okay, now, the reason why we are not doing duplicate, right, is that's where I'm going to. When you say total orders, now, if I raise, you raise an order in the morning, you raise another order in the afternoon, right? You raise another order in the evening. Another person raised another order. Mr. B raised another order. When they are counting total orders, they won't say because you raise it 3 times, right? They won't count it 3 times. You get it now? Although it is the same customers, that is, customer ID is the same, but every order has different order ID. The order ID for ordering for shoe in that same day is different from the order ID for ordering for what's it called? For sandal. The only thing is, if you are raising all those orders together, they can now create one order ID for everything. But let's say, for example, I wanted to order from Juma. I ordered for Sanda in the morning, and I forgot that I will also need socks. That Sanda has already been delivered, so it has a different order ID. When I'm entering for socks, it's having another different order ID, although it's the same day. So when I'm counting my total order, I will count it as 2. But now, if I order at the same time, shoe, bag, everything, it is carrying one order ID because everything is just one order. Please, are you getting it? Because it's just going to be raised on one invoice, right? In that case, it's just one order. So we won't say this thing can't. We have to count everything. Now, when do you now do this thing can't? So you want to now know orders raised, right? You want to know it by customer. So I want to count, okay, customer A raised an order today. I want to know distinct count of customer will be distinct count of order will give me, okay, order A, right? Order A, sorry, customer A raised 3 orders today, but I want to know, okay, how many customers raised order? So in that case, all I need to do is just what? Count a distinct count of the customer ID to know the number of distinct, to know, like in that case now we won't call it total orders, we'll call it total or number of customers for the day. I don't know if you are getting me. Let me go back to this table. Fact order. Look at this. We have customer ID here. Now let me filter out one customer. Look at this. Let me filter out 26th. Look at this. Now, okay, for 26, this same customer raised how many orders? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it now depends on for where I worked before as an FMCG. Now, if someone raised an order in this one, you will have the same order, a customer ID, but this order ID will be different. So this company now, the way their own works is every customer, no matter how much the orders you raised, they are saying it's having the same what? Order ID. All right, but you can see that the row ID is different, right? So, but in some companies, when this customer raised and different orders, those orders will have the same, we have different order IDs, but in this case, they have the same order ID. So in this case, if you want to know distinct count of orders for the day, how many orders were raised, you can now do distinct count of orders that were raised, right? You can now do distinct count. But if you want to know total orders, you won't do distinct count because all these orders, you can see it's the same day, right? So you can't say this is just distinct count. So total orders is count. Do you get what I'm saying now, Mike?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So if I now want to do, okay, distinct distinct count of orders now, distinct or unique orders. Yes, let me call it unique orders. So in this case, I want to know, okay, today, 3rd of April, how many unique orders were raised? Depending, I don't want to know if it's 200, a customer raised 5, or a customer raised 10 orders. I want to know how many, okay, it's just 10 orders. So although we have duplicate of orders, but it's just 10 orders. So in this case, you now use distinct counts, orders ID. Now, I might want to know how many orders were raised per day. Now, if I drag this, for example, this one is just doing a count, right? So let me pull a table so that you understand what I'm saying. Dates, Abby, dates. You can see now. So for today, for 3rd of January 2014, just one unique order, right? Let's drag total orders. Okay, total orders will be better because for this day, just one order was raised. For this day, 3 orders. This day, 9 orders were raised. For these 2 orders and orders. Now, I might want to know orders for the week, right? I want to know total orders for the week. In this case, right, total orders for the week, I will have to now use some X and aggregate it based on day. That will give me the sum, because in that case, I'm not doing a count. This total order is doing a count, right? It's doing a count of order ID. But for the week, I want to know, for example, this is 1, 2, on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. That is 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 9 plus 2. 4, 5, 14, 16 for week 1. For week 1, I want to know the total. I'm not going to be counting. I'm going to be adding. I don't know if you get me. Because now, if I drag months, let me remove. Let me remove date. So if I drag months, right, this is still doing a count. This total order here is still doing a count. So the total count of order ID for the month. But what I want to know is, I want to now sum all the orders for the month. 3 today, 5 tomorrow, like that. I want to sum it. In that case, I will now use, especially if you are doing it per week, right? So you now use another formula, new measure. Can now say, okay. Yeah, I will sort it. Thank you so much, Jerry. Yeah, I've not, so that's why it's not in order. Thank you. So let me just create this one so I also new measure. I'm now say sum of orders, right? Sum of orders. You can now do per month, per week, or something. So I will use calculate, right? I will now use sum X. Sum X, I will now pass in the date feed, because I want to do it is either per week, because it's based on dates, per week, in 2 days, in 3 days, in 4 days, like that. So I will now pass in using values, right? Because sum X requires a table. I now want to give it a column, which is date column. I need to use values to convert that column to a table. Here is it. Okay. Then I've passed my what's it called now? I've passed my date now, so I can now pass my total orders here. The measure I created, which is total orders. Yeah. I can now pass this now, and then hit enter. Now, if I drag dates, let me say month, right? And then sum of orders, total orders. Now, it's giving us the same thing, but if you use week, it will not give you, might not give you what you needed. So that's why we need this. So let me sort my date table now. Now, Michael pointed out something which is very important, is, if you notice, What can you see here? The month is sorted alphabetical order. April, August, December, February, January, like that. But it should be sorted from January to December. So for you to do that, you have to come to your date table, which is the reason why we created this date table at this month number initially. We are supposed to use this month number to sort this month. So how do you do that? Click on your month, come to sort by, please sort by month number. And then if you go back now, you can see that it's now arranged from January to December, right? So what other thing do you want to create? Well, I want to see average, we want to see, okay, average order raised per customer, right? We want to see how many orders is being raised by what? Each customer. So we want to see, okay, how much, why are we testing that? We want to see, is it not a one-off buy that our customers are doing? A customer that just bought once. Let's say I want to do a promo for some customers, right? I want to do a promo for customers. In that case, I want to see customers that have repeat sales, right? A number of repeat sales. So I wouldn't want to give promo to a customer that just bought once. I want to give a promo to a customer that has bought several times. So in this case, I might want to see what is even my average sales, right, per customer. I want to see average order raised per customer. And I want to see these two things. So how do you do that? Simple, right? All I need to do is divide the total sales by the number of customers. But now you know you have to use distinct count of customer ID, customer, number of customers, right? So average sales per customer. All right, average sales per customer will be what? Total sales divided by, so I can use this slant or I can use the function called divide. Then I put, to ask for numerator and denominator. Total, I pick profit, it should be sales. Total sales by what? Distinct counts of what? Of the customer ID. So if I use the dimension table customer, I wouldn't need distinct counts. All right. So, but if I use from F orders, I will need distinct count because facts table contains repeated values. So I'm using distinct counts. So if I divide this now, that gives me average sales per customer. So I can also say average orders raised per customer. Let me just say new measure. I've copied that. Average orders raised per customer, right? So I'll just change this one to what? Order ID. Okay, Michael, ask your question.
Sir, you said average sales per customer.
Yeah.
And then you use order ID. You're not supposed to be average order, because I thought you use the total sales to calculate the average sales the customer make per day.
Okay, sorry, average order per customer. Sorry, I'm supposed to use customer here. Yeah, then
because
here will be now be
sales.
here will now be orders as well. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you. So average order raised per customer. So I'm going to say total orders here. Total orders. Thank you, Mike. So total orders per customer, distinct count of customer. Right. So that gives us average order raised per customer. Average sales will be total sales, then customer. So thank you. So that's, so I might want to also see average daily sales, for example. Average daily sales, right? Which is very simple by just using your average X, right? So there is an average X function. that helps to do that. All you just need to do is, because it has to do with date, pass in your date table. But we are not passing the date table, right? We want to pass in the date column because that's where we have the date. So, but I cannot do that because averages we ask for table as the first argument, as you can see here, table and expression. So I need to pass in using values, right? And then I'll pass my date. And then I can now pass in my total sales, right? Because we're saying average daily sales. So the same thing works for average monthly, right? So for average monthly, there are two ways. We have less than 10 minutes, so we just join with the next link. Average monthly sales. There are two ways we can do this. It's either we just the same averages, right? Still the same averages, right? But in this case, because it's a monthly sales, we will now pass the month column in our date table. But we cannot pass the month column. The reason is because what if we have different years? We have 2018, 19, 20, 22. You will say just the month like this. You just say month. Sorry, I will say values because values. We are now say month. All right, if I say month like this, this will work, but it will calculate wrongly because it will be doing, if you have several years, it will be doing average monthly for 3 or 4 years or 5 years, depending on the number of years together, instead of helping us to calculate per year. So to solve that issue, what can you do? We can do, because there is in our date table, we created a column that has both month and year. So we can just use that column. So because it has both month and year, so we can just use this average values month and year, and then we use our total sales. All right. Then we pass in our total sales. Now, one other way I can do that again is I can pass in, so let me name this one total sales 1, average monthly sales 1. So instead of using month year, I can also pass in month and year together and then find a way to join them together to be one so that it can represent my average monthly sales. So let me copy this. So in that case, I can use another DAX function, which is what? Cross join, right? How does cross join work? Cross join is a table function as well. It was not listed there, so that's why I said as we are working, we'll see some of these things. Cross join is a table function, and how does it work? It combines two tables together. It cross joins two tables together, just like a multiplication table. You know your multiplication table. I can do. I wrote 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 down, and then I wrote 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 down. I can say 1 times 2, and then make it one column. That's how a cross join works. You are doing a cross join. Now, a cross join takes a table value. A table takes 2 tables. Now, if I don't, and I want to pass in just 2 columns, month and year, how do I solve this? Remember, we can use values or HOL. So in this case, I will use values to solve that issue. So instead of using this one is correct, but I just want to teach us the other way around, which is by using cross join. So I will just remove this and then pass into cross join the 2 columns separately, month and year. So I will use cross join. You can see cross join is saying give me table 1, give me table 2, but you don't have table 1 and table 2. So in that case, you use what? Values for the month. All right, you close that, comma, values for the what? For the year. Close that as well. All right, then you close it finally. You are done. So what's all this one, this part now? This part now This part is just the same thing as what we did the other time by saying values, date, space, month, which is part of our column before. So this and this works together. Let me go back because so that you understand what I'm saying. Look at this date table. This was the one I used previously. I have a column called month year. But in case I don't have this column month here, I can use cross join. Here's it. Average month. Okay. So I can use cross join, right? So that's one. But it will give us the same answer. So if you drag it now, let's drag it. So you can see that it's giving us the same answer, right? Even though we are using different. Now, let's now say you want to be able to divide this single guy by the total, this guy by the total, this guy by the total. So meaning you want to say for each month, I want to be able to divide each month, each sales for the month, or by product or by anything by the total. Now, how do you do that? Remember, meaning you need to say something like this nature, total sales, total sales divided by total sales, right? You want to do something, let's do this, something of this nature, let's see, and let's drag it inside. What are you saying? He's saying 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, because what this guy is doing is just dividing each of these guys by themselves. 23,000 divided by 23,000, 14,000 plus divided by 14,000, this divided by 51,000, 34,000 divided by 34,000. But in your own sense, what you wanted to do is what? Divide this first value by the total. This second one by the total. So you want the total to always remain the same. So in that case, what can you use to help to solve that? Now, I will do something now and you see that it will work. Now, I can use, remember, I told us about all. I told us all will just return everything. Let's do a calculate. So I will do, so now let me teach us another way of creating measures, right? We can also create measures with variables. Now let me go back to it. Let me open a notepad. We have less than 2 minutes. Remember, in mathematics, I can say A is equal to what? 12. B is equal to 10. Abi, I can now say C is equal to what? A plus B. Abi, I can then say C is what? C is what? 22. Remember, right? So what have I done? Instead of saying directly, I can also say C is equal to what? 12 plus 10. Instantly, I will say my C is 22. Are you following, guys? Michael, Joe, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Sir. So, I can do this, right? But why am I doing this first? Is to help me. Now, why am I doing this A plus B before now doing A plus? Now, if I want to do C equals to, I will now say 12 plus, maybe I want to call that 10 again, plus that 10 again. You get it? And let's say, okay, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example so that you get it. 12, A is 12 plus 5. Now, if I do it manually and say plus 5, I'm calling 3 things at the same time. But if I have said A is 12 plus 5, what do I need to do here? I will just say, instead of saying 12 plus 5 plus 10, I will just say what? A plus what? B. And I will still get my answer. Because A as a variable already stores 12 plus 5, right? B as a variable already stores 10. So I don't need to call it twice. The reason is because if you call it twice like that, it will reduce the performance of your DAX. Meaning your DAX, sometimes when you now have a very big calculation that you are doing a lot of sums, some X, on this, it will affect your calculation. Your calculation will not be fast. So when you are refreshing, it will take time for your report to refresh. Let's say that another data is loaded, it will take time. That is what we call optimization, which is part 6 of what we are doing. Right?